Today we're starting a perspective drawing using shapes. Start by making, 5 to 10 shapes. Try to make them be bigger than a quarter and keep them away from the very center of your page. Spread them out as you go to circles, squares, triangles, rectangles, whatever you want. Now add a dot in the center of your page or in the center of the shapes. Find yourself a straight edge. It can be a ruler, but it doesn't have to be. It can be a magazine, the edge of it, you can use that. You can find a box of some sort, Kleenex, I have this. There's all sorts of things you can find that you can make a straight edge. Even a pencil, an extra pencil you can use as a straight edge. From the corner of each of those shapes, you're going to draw a line to the dot. So you're lining it up with the dot, lining it up with the corner, and drawing a straight line. From the dot to the corner, line them up, draw a straight line. You don't always have to do every corner. Corner, dot, corner, dot. Now you'll notice that corner I'm also going to draw to the dot because I'm going to see that side of the shape. I'm trying to make these shapes look three-dimensional. Here's a rule. If you draw from the corner to the dot and you draw through the original shape, you don't have to draw that line. Continue drawing all your corners to the dot for all of your shapes. If there are some shapes overlapping, stop the line where you run into the other shape. Don't draw anymore. Line it up with the dot, bump into the shape, and stop. Now circles are a little bit different. They don't have corners, but they do have edges. So line up with the dot, kind of bump into the shape, and wherever it bumps in, that will be where you draw your line. There's the edge of the shape. There's the dot, line those up, slide it over, and draw that line. There you go. When you're done drawing all the lines to all of your shapes, find yourself a circle. This will be for the planet. It can be bigger, it can be smaller. Remember, this is our superhero view, so something that's flying over a city. So we'll see the kind of Earth or whatever planet is behind it or that it's coming out of. Draw those circular lines in between the buildings, so wherever the space or the sky might be. Then you can start tracing all of your lines in Sharpie. Be careful, you might even want to use your ruler for parts of those straight lines or kind of drag your hand across the page to keep those lines going nice and smooth. When you're done with that, you can decorate. You can be putting in windows or things on the rooftop. Maybe you see a pool or something up on the rooftop. You might see water slides between the buildings. If you're putting on windows, remember the rule of as things get farther away from us, they get smaller. So each of these windows is going to get a little smaller and smaller and smaller as it gets down towards the dot. After you get a few windows and things on the buildings, take a large eraser and erase any extra pencil lines that you might have left over. Now we can start to color. Let's use crayons or colored pencils for this. I'm starting just with the little world underneath, using some colors. When we color in the buildings, we want to add value. The tops of the buildings should be the lightest. Then the sides, depending on how many sides you have, on this one I have 3 sides, the top and then the 2 sides coming down. I'll have the top be the lightest, one side be kind of a medium color, and then the third side be the darkest. So I'll push hardest on that third side. If I only have 2 sides, the top and one other side, I just have light and maybe medium or dark. So I'll have the 2 values. When I'm doing a circle building, I do the top the lightest, and I have the darkest on one side, and I fade over to the lightest as I go to the other side of it. You'll see as I work on my buildings here. Alright, so if this is going to be a superhero view, maybe I need a superhero or I need something floating around just for kind of fun. So if you finish this early and want to add something in, find yourself a little scrap piece of paper. It doesn't have to be big. And I'm going to show you how to add in something and actually have it standing up off of the page so it's actually floating on your picture. So on your scrap piece of paper, just decide what it is that you want to have floating, draw it out, outline it in Sharpie, color it in, and cut it out, and then I'll show you what to do. All right, when I'm done cutting out that piece of paper, I'm going to find more scrap, and I'm going to cut 2 strips of paper. Not too thick, not too thin. All right, now what I'm going to do is, if you want to, you can put a little drop of glue on here to get them to go together, but you're going to put them together on a right angle like this to start, okay? And then what you're going to do is, this one's on the bottom, this one's on top. I'm going to fold this one over the top, and then this one, and this one, and this one. I'm always going up and over. I'm never going around. This is going to make like a little spring. And I can use that spring to get my rocket ship to look like it's floating over the city. And I think this is probably going to be tall enough. And I might even need 2 for mine just because it's kind of a big piece. So I think I'm going to stop it here. Just cutting off the extra. And what that does, as you can see, it kind of makes like a little spring. And I'm going to grab some glue. I'm going to close this up with a little drop of glue just at the top here. So those last 2, oops, if my glue is going to work, I'm just going to close them up. And then on the back here, a drop of glue. Oops, I just undid it. Put it here on my picture. Drop of glue there. And so I have a little spring there now. Now I just get to glue it down to my paper. Oops. It stuck to my finger. All right, so now it looks like it's kind of floating over the city. You can kind of see how it's just hung on there. Have fun. This can be anything. It can be a cat in pajamas if you want it to be, a donut, a block of cheese, pickles, whatever. Something flying over the city. Have fun with that.